At this point, I'm sure everybody has seen the update that is on the alpha. A pretty crazy, very interesting update. Of course, we have the new Primal Dragon armor, but today is not about that. Today is about the mythic Ender Dragon pet. The Primal Dragon egg is an item dropped from the new Primal Dragons. If you currently have a legendary or epic Ender Dragon, you might be thinking, oh, well, as soon as this update comes out, I'm going to go ahead and get this mythic Ender Dragon pet. It looks pretty damn cool. And the stats are really good too. Essentially, you benefit the most from this pet if you have a lot of unique pets in your pet menu. The Ancestral ability grants +2 strength for every unique pet that you own, finally giving players even more of an advantage for spending all of the life savings on tons of pets. Now, I've very kindly been given a lot of pets on the alpha server, which is nice, meaning we have 370 pet score. Today, we're going to test this pet out. Not only are we going to test it to see how good it really is, we're going to take a look at how many coins this potentially could cost, and also the chances of dropping one of these upgraders. And to be honest, I think it would be a pretty good idea to compare this Ender Dragon pet to, I don't know, a G-Drag. I mean, that only makes sense, right? So we've got our Primal Dragon on. We're also using the fabled Blade of Dragonfire. Now, with the E-Drag, our stats are as following, holding the sword. So we have 1,412 strength and 1,731 crit damage. Meaning our damage outside of dungeons and nothing like that is around about 518k, 580, 526. I mean, we are using fabled, so there is a bit of a disparity. It's ranging between around 510 and 580k. Now using a G-Drag, 592k, 571, 583. Yeah, it is a little bit, it looks to be a little bit more consistently higher than the Ender Dragon, 633, so it does deal more damage. Of course, this is level 200 G-Drag with a billion coins in the bank. So we're now going to go to the end, because we all know that the Ender Dragon performs much better in the end because of its abilities. With our Ender Dragon pet equipped, let's see how much damage we can now do. Okay, 1.2 million. That seems to be pretty good, actually. 1.2 million. 1.24 million. Okay, it looks to be between 1.2 and 1.5 million, which is pretty good considering I'm not even using the right sword, because this is a Hyperion. So how about we actually use the right sword? And we'll deal less damage. Okay, that makes so much sense. Okay. 1.75 million. Okay, so it's between 1 million and 1.075 million. And then with the G-Drag, don't know why I right-clicked, we're dealing substantially less damage at 763k. Like, that is a massive difference. I'd probably say that is going to be, you're looking at around a 200k damage difference, maybe 250k. Yeah, look, probably close to 250k, which is just actually insane. Now, of course, the Ender Dragon pet always would outdamage the G-Drag in the end, but obviously this is just widening the gap. So for something like Enderman Slayer, I think the Ender Dragon pet is going to be really, really good, especially the mythic one. I mean, it already is good enough, and to be honest, tier 4 Endermans at this point shouldn't be a massive challenge to people who already have a G-Drag or an Ender Dragon, unless you're skill issued like me. But before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server. It's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. But how about we take this to dungeons? Well, we've currently got our Ender Dragon pet equipped, and we're dealing 4.6 million damage, 5.1 million damage, 4.4 million damage. Looks to be between 4.5 to 5 million damage, or around about that figure. If we switch to our G-Drag and get some actual figures, we're going to be dealing around about 5 million. Can we kill anything else? 4.9, 4.7. The damage is very, very similar, but what I will say is I think the G-Drag just about edges it ever so slightly, but it is almost indistinguishable. So what I will say is, at the moment, this Ender Dragon pet is good. It's substantially better in the end. It still falls short in dungeons and pretty much anywhere else. And to actually benefit from this upgrade, you have to have quite a substantial pet menu, which of course isn't cheap. You don't have to do it to the extent where everything is legendary level 100. You know, you can still get away with it's every unique pet. So you don't have to spend that many coins, maybe not as many as you initially think. But realistically, this upgrader has helped the E-Drag, it's better. But in majority of situations, the G-Drag is still better. That's from what I can see at the moment anyway. I mean, this is alpha, things could change. Now, what's really, really interesting about this upgrader is its rarity, and we need to take a look at that because it's very important. Now, first of all, we shouldn't even look at the rarity of the actual upgrader. We need to look at the rarity of getting a Primal Dragon. Ways to get a Primal Dragon. Well, first of all, you need to place 8 Awakened Summoning Eyes, which means if, say for instance, 2 of you are placing 4 each, that's 4 Awakened Summoning Eyes each. Now, each Awakened Summoning Eye consists of 5 regular Summoning Eyes and 4 Null Voids. Meaning that that's probably going to cost, I mean, of course, the prices are probably still going to drop of regular Summoning Eyes. Let's say that each Primal Dragon is going to cost around about 50 million because it's going to be, well, 40 Summoning Eyes. That's 25 million each. And from spending that 25 million, you have a 2% chance of hitting God Mode, where you spawn 2 Primal Dragons. You have an 11.76% chance of hitting Dragon Rush. Dragon Rush is when Dragon Rush is active, there will be 3 to 5 equally random waves of Ender Dragons. During each wave, 2 to 4 Ender Dragons will spawn. And you have an 86.24% chance of getting multiple dragons. So what that's telling you is there is a ridiculously low chance of actually getting a Primal Dragon full stop, and you're spending 25 million coins a pop. The way that you can actually get a Primal Dragon through Dragon Rush is as outlined here. You have a 5% chance of hitting 4 dragons, a 20% chance of 3 dragons, and a 75% chance of 2 dragons. After the last Ender Dragon is killed, there is a 15% chance to spawn a Primal Dragon. So of the 11.76% chance you've got to get Dragon Rush, within there, you then have an extra only 15% chance of spawning a Primal Dragon. Now, of course, that's not exact because, once again, there's different things that can happen within Dragon Rush. It's a little bit confusing. Then if we take a look at the loot, this is just from Primal Dragons. The Primal Dragon Egg, which is the upgrader, has a 0.1% chance per Awakened Summoning Eye placed. So if both of you place 4, for instance, then you both have a 0.4% chance of getting a Primal Dragon Egg. To actually get, well, to be in with a chance, you've got to place the Summoning Eyes, and then you basically just simply have to just hit the dragon once with this quality. Now, what's interesting is they've changed the quality that you actually need to drop an Ender Dragon pet altogether. It used to be very similar to the Primal Dragon Egg, where you would just need to essentially get a hit on the dragon if you place the eyes, but that's not the case anymore. You actually have to place top 7 or 8 to actually be in with a chance of dropping an Ender Dragon pet now, which is really, really interesting. I think a lot of people have overlooked it. The chances of getting your Primal Dragon armor is just relatively similar to the rest of the armor that you get. You have about 30% chance to drop it if you actually do place a Summoning Eyes. So basically what we're saying here is it's really rare to get a Primal Dragon. And if you do get a Primal Dragon, it is incredibly rare to get a Primal Dragon Egg. So from the figures that we have on the wiki at the moment, of course this is subject to change, but there's around about a 1 in just over 6,000 chance, roughly. This is not an exact figure, so don't take my word for it, but there is roughly a 1 in 6,000 chance to actually drop one of these upgraders, one of these Primal Dragon Eggs. And if you think, if you're placing 4 eyes at a time with somebody else, you're both placing 4, and the average chance to get a Primal Dragon Egg is 1 in 6,000. It is a bit higher, but we'll say it's 1 in 6,000. Now, if we take 25 million and times that by 6,000, that equates to 150 billion coins. 150 billion coins worth of dragons. And that's assuming you have somebody else to place with. Now, if we were to just put the amount of coins together that you would both spend, that's 300 billion coins. Do you understand why this potentially could be very expensive? I'm not saying that this upgrade is going to be 300 billion coins. That would be completely and utterly absurd, to be completely honest. But you can kind of see why it's going to be expensive. Now, if you're thinking you're just going to be able to instantly hop on when this update drops and buy one of these upgraders, to be honest, unless you have unlimited coins and somebody actually drops one relatively quickly, then it's not going to happen. Because to be completely honest, if somebody does drop one of these, they can kind of just name a price, and who's going to say otherwise? Having said that, we've tested the Mythic Ender Dragon pet out, and it isn't bad. It's actually quite good. However, the G-Drag is still better in majority of situations. Now, the G-Drag costs 1.2 billion coins with the billion in the bank. The G-Drag costs the best part of 2 billion coins, maybe slightly more. And unless you are exclusively going to be just navigating around the end using this Mythic Ender Dragon pet, then it doesn't really make a massive amount of sense to actually buy one if it's so expensive. So yeah, who knows? Now, I guess another decent thing about this pet is that it buffs the Blade of Dragonfire. However, the Blade of Dragonfire is decent. I mean, actually, to be fair, realistically, its stats are pretty good. Giving us good damage, good strength, good crit damage, and also magic find on a weapon, which is kind of, yeah, pretty cool. But I think it needs to be better. For the drop chances, I think that item has got to be better, really. The chances of getting a Primal Dragon are rare. It's expensive to spawn that dragon. Once again, you're not guaranteed to get it. The chances of getting the upgrader from the very rare dragon are also incredibly rare. So unless you get extremely lucky, if you actually hit odds, it's going to take ages and billions upon billions, hundreds of billions of coins to actually get this. And I just think it's an issue because, I mean, the way I see it at this moment in time, unless you really want to use the Blade of Dragonfire, or you're just basically always going to be in the end, then a G-Drag's still better. So yeah. Bear in mind the tests that we did, the G-Drag was still better with the Blade of Dragonfire, even though the Ender Dragon pet buffs the Blade of Dragonfire. So yeah. Unlike the Primal Dragon armor, which is arguably maybe a bit too overpowered, the nerf that it got was just a slap on the wrist. I think this needs to be buffed, personally, but who knows. Or either that, the chances needs to be made easier to get. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.